Hey shooters, this is Joe Lowley from Precision Match Timer, and we are going to look at the September 2022 course of fire for NRL22. It is a good looking course of fire, a couple things that are a little bit tough, but we're going to take a look at stage by stage and see what we can do to improve our scores. Let's go. All right, so stage one, we have Never Forget, and it is a 12-round stage, 4 targets, 50, 70, 80, and 100 yards. And let's see, the sizes of the targets are 0.8, 0.8, 0.9, 0.8, 2.9, 2.73, 2.9 MOA. Very, very consistent size targets. Let's see. So it's going to start with 3 tires piled up on one side with the ladder leaning up against them, and you're going to shoot off the rungs of the ladder, not touching the tires. So you're going to start off with any ladder rung that is not touching the tire and go from near to far. Move to a different rung, go far to near, and then another rung and go near to far. And it is a holdover only stage, so you can't touch your scope except to change parallax if you need to. I won't. I don't think you need to touch parallax even on this. So definitely need to know your holdovers. For this, my data shows of course, a 0 at 50. It is 0.6 at 70, 0.94 at 80, and 1.8 at 100. And so I'll do all holdovers, of course, because you have to. But it's what we need to do is analyze the holdovers. So let's take a look on the computer, and I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, let's take a look at this, and this is basically the view I see out of my reticle. I shoot everything at about 15 power, and this is about the field of view that I get. So we'll put in some targets for stage 1, and there's our 4 targets. You'll notice they're all about the same size, and you can see from our where I listed out the mil size and MOA size, that's pretty much true. The targets get bigger, the distance gets bigger, and they all look about the same. So we'll look at that now, and now we have our reticle here, and we'll move the reticle around. So for this particular one, we are going to shoot at the 50 yard to start. 50 is easy, it's 0. So it's going to sit right on the center of the target. You're going to move out to the next target, which I have down as 0.6 for my rifle. And 0.6 is that little nib just below the 0.5. That's 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. And you can see how close they are. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to put it right on 0.5, about halfway, good to go. I'm not going to worry about that 1/10 at that distance. So I'll put it at 0 and then 0.5. The next one is 0.94. It's going to be real close to the 1 there, which is why I'm just going to put it on 1. Put it on 1, send it. And the last one is 1.8. I actually shoot 1.8 a lot because it's 100 yards all the time, and I am actually going to shoot that at 1.8. I usually just find the 2, go up 1 nib, and that's where it is. And so, you know, it's one little hash mark above 2. It's an easy one to find, so I don't have much problem finding that one. You can see if I shot it at 2, that 1.8 is you know, maybe a third of the way down the target. It's a little higher than I want. So I just put it at the point 1.8. Of course, then we're going to move to the next target, go 1.8, go to 1, go to half, go to 0, and then back again, 0, half, 1, 1.8. And so that's how I'll run this stage, and use the holdovers in the reticle. All right, stage 1. Off the ladder, up on the 3 tires. Anyone who knows me knows I like to shoot off a plate, especially a plate attached to a bag. Gray Ops Mini Plate Pro with the Armageddon gear. This thing's great on a flat surface, not good on this angle. This is the Area 4119 version with the schmedium on it, and I thought that might work, but it still doesn't like that angle all that much. So we're going back to the regular old way of doing it, which is throwing a regular Armageddon gear schmedium up on it and putting the bag, the rifle on the bag and shooting it. I looked also at using a rear bag like the big ass bag, or the Coltac Cuddle, which is similar to a pump pillow size, and this one's actually a better size. This one's almost a little too big, but I'll double check that at the range when I'm shooting. So I'll probably use this, throw this one on, and I'm just going to use this straight. Now it says you can shoot from any of the rungs not touching the ladder. I am going to assume I can shoot from this one. I assume it just means not this one. So I will shoot from this one and this one and the bottom one. I don't like these middle ones. They're a little too low for a good kneeling position. So I like the higher ones or the very low ones where I'll go full prone on those. If I can't shoot this one, I'll shoot this one and this one. This one's just a little harder for me. This one's really tough. I will start all the way down on the end. I'll go prone, figure out if there's any wind, what I have to do, then I'll jump up here, finish up there. And I am gonna do a quick run through with the rifle on this stage. I might fast forward some of it so it doesn't get boring. I am going to use, with the Tacticam, I'm gonna use my centerfire rifle for it. My gunsmith said he'd prefer if I didn't use my rimfire to do dry firing. Even though Voodoo says it's okay, I'll still probably avoid doing it for now. And they're balanced about the same, so it really shouldn't be much difference. So let me do a run through and see what we can get on this. I think it's going to be a pretty stable and not very difficult stage. The hardest part is your holdovers. You got to remember your holdovers. Near to far, far to near, near to far. Shooter ready. Engage. All right, plenty of time. I took that very, very slow. As you can see, every time I put my knee up where I could, I either put the bag up high here, or I did try to get the bag lower, and maybe even get my knee a little lower on this second position. And to be honest with you, that was not a very difficult one, and I don't see any issues arising from that particular stage. So, good one. All right, stage 2 is rebuilding brick by brick. It is a KYL at 35 and the 3-inch at 100. And there's going to be one block of cinder block on your left side and 2 blocks on your right side. And you are going to shoot, starting from the double blocks, shoot the far target, go to the single block, shoot the 1-inch on the KYL, jump back to the 2-inch, hit the far, come back to the smaller one, shoot the next smaller, back and forth. You will shoot the 1/4-inch target twice because they're trying to get 5 shots out of it. So this is telling me, because they're shooting the smaller one, that we are basically going to shoot the smaller one like it's prone, especially shooting off that 1/4-inch target. I don't think I would try to kneel down low and get this. I think it's just going to be too low. So you're going to be sprawled out, getting down into a prone position, and then getting up probably into a low kneel for your far target. And but it's a generous size target. It's 0.8, so it's not too bad. But you're going to be jumping back and forth as much as you can. So it's kind of a modified prone stage, except that you're shooting off of the block. Otherwise, let's see what it looks like in the field. All right, so this stage 2, is shooting off the blocks. So we're going to shoot all the far targets at 100 off of the double block, and the KYL rack is going to be shot from the single block. As I said earlier, pretty much tells you it's going to be a prone stage. It's so low, and we're shooting at 1/4-inch target, so I think they pretty much expect you to do a prone stage here. I looked at both using the larger Area 419 medium combination. Worked great here. It's a little high right there. So I am going to go with the smaller Gray Ops Mini Plate Pro with the Armageddon gear bag. And I am going to bring the medium out just for a rear bag. I'm debating whether to use the pump pillow in the back, but I think I'm going to use the stronger medium bag in order to just, I probably won't even use it in the first couple of shots. I only want to use it on the smaller targets, probably the 1/2 and the 1/4. So I'll probably just drop it there and probably not even use it until I really need to. So doesn't look like a very difficult stage. You do have a holdover. When you're up here, I got 1.8, and that's fairly generous target, very stable up on the double block. So let's take a look at that and see how I can run it quick. Shooter ready? Engage. steady.
Seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time.
I probably didn't get that last shot off. I think it was close, but I think I took a little bit too much time on some of the smaller targets. I think I'll have to move a little faster in my transitions, not worry about getting quite so steady there, and not getting quite so steady on the earlier KYL targets. I waited till my reticle was close to not moving, and I could have hit it a little earlier. It's a lot of movement, more than I was thinking it would be, and but with practice, if I do that 2 or 3 more times, I think I'll be all right. But good stage. I like that one.
All right, stage 3. Lest we forget the fallen. 2. 10 rounds, and it is a 30-yard and a 75-yard. They both end up about 0.9 or about 3.2 MOA. So pretty generous size. This is using the rooftop, but instead of the normal way we shoot rooftop on facing forward, we're going to flip the rooftop sideways and shoot from the top of it. So you're going to be shooting, 90 degrees off of the side of it. So you're going to be kind of laying sideways on the top of the roof. It says it's facing with the peak to the right. Hopefully lefties are allowed to change that, because that would be really difficult to shoot. And we got 2 different distances at 30 and 75. You are just going back and forth between the 2. So if you decide to do a holdover, I have about 0.7, and we'll take a look at that. But you could also pretty easily dial this stage as well. So, but let's take a look, just in case we decide that we want to do a holdover, what it'll look like. And let's look at the computer again.
All right, on stage 3 here, it is very similar to the other holdovers. I'm going to put a couple targets out here. This one is, I don't know, you should be fairly stable on this prop, but let's make it as easy as we can. So the first shot, we're just going to use center, which is easy enough. And then the second shot, I actually have 0.7 on here. So if you go up to 0.7, 0.7 is halfway between that little 0.6 to the left and that 0.8 to the right. So centering it right there, good chance I will just use 0.8. You can see the difference is that or that. Boy, it ain't much. It's only a tenth. And, tenth is the difference between this little hash mark and this big hash mark. It is not a lot. So it's a lot easier for me to put 0.8 on the center and send it. And that's what I'll probably do.
All right, stage 3. It's an interesting one. It's got the rooftop turned sideways. My makeshift rooftop is a little tough for this. It's very tippy. I threw a tire on the end just so I didn't go off this end, because it's just sitting on this this box. And boy, I looked at everything. I looked at using a bipod, a bipod angled. It was just a little too high. I needed a rear bag in order to do it. But I tried a regular schmedium, and it was too low because it was hitting, my mag was hitting.
So this is what I've come up with. I got the cuddle bag, which is about the size of a pump pillow. Could probably use the big ass bag on its side. This one's a little fluffier, so it sits in it a little easier. And then I also hang my elbow off the side a little bit, give myself a little bit more stability. I'm using just my hand. I didn't use a rear bag. I was very steady because it's pretty low. It could all change at the match. It could be a totally different angle, steeper. It could be a lot wider, so there was a lot more room. I even tried at one point just barely hanging on and tucking my leg up last second for every shot, and that was just too much time and not very steady. So let me give this a run through and show you what I got. And then, and by the way, it says you can get your rifle handed to you. I think that's a smart way to do this. I'm gonna have to do it myself, but I think it would be smart to have someone hand you a rifle. You know, the last thing you want to do is have some kind of safety incident because someone's sliding down the rooftop or dumping their rifle off the side. So I think this is one stage where it wouldn't hurt to have somebody help you a little bit. So let's see what we can get going on this one. Shooter ready? Engage. There we go, it's 10 shots. Keep in mind, I don't have a bar going across here anywhere. If I did, I would stop myself from sliding. I think I was sliding down the whole way because my elbow hook was definitely losing it, but I still was pretty steady for the majority of it. And once I got into position, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I had lots of time left too. Once you're in position, it's not a hard stage. It's just getting into position and making it safe. So, good. All right, stage 4 is through the rubble. It is a 100-yard target, 3-inch. That gives you, it's about a 0.8 or a 2.9 MOA target. So, typical NRL22 size target. And the way we're going to shoot this is there's going to be a number of props lined up, and that's going to include the top of the sawhorse, 55-gallon barrel, seat of the chair, 2-gallon bucket, 5-gallon bucket. And you're going to take 2 shots at each one. So fairly straightforward stage. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. I know a few months back we did something similar, but had to run one way and then weak side back again the other way. I think this is going to be much easier than that, and I don't think this one will give too much trouble. There is a number of positions to shoot from, but I don't think we'll have that much trouble with it. All right, this is stage 4. Stage 4 is what I call it all the props. It starts with the sawhorse on top. It goes to the barrel in this position, seat of the chair, 2-gallon bucket, 5-gallon bucket, 2 shots each, all the same target at 100. So not too difficult, just dial and let her rip. And I think this is the hardest position, and possibly the 2-gallon bucket, although I'll probably get down into almost a prone. I'm not going to use a game changer. I think it takes too long to move it. Instead, I am going to be using the game changer that's attached to Area 419. And then I am going to keep this as a rear bag for the sawhorse and possibly for going prone on the 2-gallon bucket. I think that's the best way to handle it. You could easily use a regular game changer and move it. Just takes a little longer. You could even skip it on the bucket if you feel like it, and shoot it straight off the bucket, straight on the rifle. It's a little tougher that way, but I think it works. I prefer the Area 419 inch medium bag just because it gets me up a little higher for magazine clearance, and so that's the way I'm going to shoot it. So let's see what happens. Shooter ready? Engage.
Seconds.
20 seconds left. That wasn't too bad. This one bounced a little bit. This one bounced a little bit. The other ones were pretty good.
9, 8.
Not too bad. One of the easier stages, probably.
All right, and finally we have stage 5, which is 911. This is an 11 round count. The targets are all at 85 yards. There is 2 targets that are both 1.5 inch circles, but they're going to be spread about 10 feet apart. Then one of those targets is also going to have hanging under it a 5-inch target, which is quite big. What you're going to do is go back and forth from the prone position. You're going to shoot the left target, the right target, the left target, the right target, the left target, the right target, the left target. 9 shots, going back and forth between them, starting on the left, ending on the left. 9 shots, and then you're going to get up into a sitting position unsupported, the dreaded unsupported. And going to be taking a shot at that large target. So the small targets are about 0.5 mil, 1.7 MOA. The large target is 1.6 mils or 5.6 MOA. So it's a pretty big target. We all know unsupported is not easy, and especially going from a prone to that unsupported, it's not going to leave a lot of time for getting into slings and things. So I think you're just going to have to shoot it the way it is. And after that 10th shot from the sitting position, you have a mandatory reload to put one more round in and shoot it again. So there's going to be 2 shots at that sitting position, but with a mag change in between. So make sure you have 2 mags, and make sure you have them all loaded up. And I think this may give some people some issues, but hopefully it's not too bad. But let's get out on the range and see what it'll look like. All right, this is stage 5, 911. It's prone stage. You got 2 targets back and forth. Supposed to be about 10 foot apart. I did mine at about 4 foot apart because they're at 33 yards. If you do a little trigonometry, you can find exactly what the distance apart should be for your distance that you're shooting. And so mine's about 4, and that's equivalent to 210. So the hard part for this, for me, is the unsupported seated shot. Maybe I'm ready for the old guy section, but I have hips that do not work very well. I can't sit Indian style. So I have to sit with my knees up. And really the only way I have found that's any good is to put my knee up against my foot and then rest my rifle, actually rest the magazine as much as I can on here, and then I can shoot. I can't even get up this way to hold myself up. I just have very, very tight hips. It's actually somewhat of a medical issue in that it's just the way I was born. My hips turn in a little bit. Most people have their hips turned out a little bit, so it's easier. But so I'm not going to show you through the scope what this looks like because it ain't pretty. I have to time it. I'm not a big fan of any of these unsupported positions. Unsupported prone is just plain stupid. Unsupported kneeling, it's all right. I mean, just why would you do these things if you could rest on something? I know you don't always have something to rest on, but and the seated I would never do. I would never sit this way. I would kneel instead of seated. Standing, I'm not bad at. I've shot silhouette for a long time. I just don't do it with this heavy a rifle. And you know, we have 8.5 pound limit on silhouette rifles, so that's what I'm used to shooting standing. And I shot master class in silhouette, but this is a tough one. So let me just get a couple up here just to see what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to hope I don't have feeding issues resting it up here. It's also kind of on this magwell blocker. I think those were both hits, but definitely not my favorite position. And hopefully the prone should be all right. It's just a back and forth. Just remember, you start on the left, end on the left. And with the SkyPod bipod, you can get a little panning going on back and forth. It's not too bad. You just kind of lean into it one way or another. Usually lean out is easier. And leaning out, pushing left. So that's usually the way I can handle it. So otherwise, I think it's a good 9 points for me. It's whether I can get that 10 and 11th shot from this seated position or not. It'll be a tough one for me.